Hi you guys, and welcome to Hannah's Historical Kitchen. Today, we're going to be learning a little bit about some missing brains in history. I bet you didn't know that there were some very famous people who got their brains stolen. Plus, we're going to learn how to make brain cake pops suspended in Jell-O. A lot of fun, and they look super awesome. So, let's get started. So, a lot of famous people's brains were stolen in the past. And it's kind of weird how people actually got away with that. First, we're going to talk about the good old 35th President, John F. Kennedy. He was assassinated November 22nd, 1963, after they did JFK's autopsy by some not-so-professional coroners. They ended up burying his body in, of course, Arlington Cemetery, which you can totally go visit whenever you feel like it. But they took his brain, put it in a lockbox, and stuck it in the National Archives. I have no idea why. It's just, I don't even know. Also in the National Archives, they didn't only put his brain, they put all of the autopsy papers in there too. And about a year later, JFK's secretary was actually looking through the National Archives and figured out that the autopsy papers and his brain was missing from the lockbox. There's a lot of conspiracy when it comes to this. They're thinking RFK might have stolen it, which is his brother. Of course, conspiracy theorists had a field day with this. They thought, oh, someone stole it because they don't want anyone to know the true reason why JFK was shot, where he was shot, and why he was shot. We all pretty much know without saying that his younger brother, RFK, stole it. We don't know why. There's a lot of speculation of whether it was because he was on some kind of drugs and he didn't want others to know what his brother was taking at the time of his presidency. Some people think it's just like a weird relic that he just kind of wants to keep in remembrance of his family member. But I mean, I don't think he's alive anyway, because you know about the Kennedy. The thing that makes Kennedy different from the rest of these brains is we still don't have it. We don't know where it is. We kind of accepted that his younger brother stole it. And yeah, for some reason, it's just not a big deal. They're like, oh, NBD. Well, we get another JFK brain. He's in Arlington Cemetery. He's not going anywhere. Next, we're going to talk about Mr. Benito Mussolini. Now, not a lot of people know about this because it was kind of a hush-hush thing. 21 years after Benito Mussolini was executed with his mistress, the United States government decided to give his widow the rest of his brain. Now, they took his brain, not sure why, but we had it, and the wife was in horror because she thought we used it as some kind of trophy. And we might have. And they wanted to see how a dictator's brain worked, and they wanted a nice macabre trophy. The weirdest part is we kept fragments of it, and just recently there was an eBay listing that had fragments of Benito Mussolini's brain for sale. I mean, eBay took it down. This sends me to my last brain, Mr. Albert Einstein. So all Einstein really wanted to do was be cremated and done with. But of course, since he was like pivotal in the science community, that was not going to happen. With our obsession with relics of special people in history, there was no way he was going anywhere near a crematory. On April 18th in 1955, the pathologist on call, Thomas Harvey, stole the brain of Einstein. Like, nobody else was around watching this? So, of course, he took the brain home and he studied and studied and studied, and he became a recluse because he didn't want anyone to know that he had the brain in his possession because, you know, he stole a brain. Einstein's brain. Not only did he steal his brain, he ran off with it. His wife said that if he kept the brain around, she would throw it away. Come on, lady, let the man keep the brain. So he ran out to the Midwest. He left his wife, he left his job, he left everything, slowly becoming completely insane. And he started working in like a plastic factory. He got hired on as like a doctor somewhere else. And the weirdest part was he ended up putting this in a beer cooler. Einstein's brain, and the only thing he had to cure it instead of like a formaldehyde was apple cider vinegar. And this guy literally chopped the brain up into like ground meat from Taco Bell. Like, the guy destroyed Einstein's brain. It was ridiculous. Just trying to make this big scientific study that he found something different. That, of course, he would send pieces of Einstein's brain to scientists trying to figure out what was so different. He stayed up all night studying. He actually like found another wife and everything. He pretty much traveled around with his brain and pretended he was a new person. Part was Einstein's son gave him the blessing to take the brain, but that is definitely widely speculated, but that's how he got away with a lot of it. So Thomas Harvey ended up getting fired from Princeton Hospital and took the brain to Philadelphia with him. As he traveled, he kept it in a beer cooler. He kept Einstein's brain in a beer cooler. Then he ran off to Missouri and started practicing medicine while studying the brain in his spare time. And of course, as you can guess, he lost his medical license. Once Harvey lost his medical license, he ended up working in a plastic assembly line factory and an apartment above a gas station where he befriended the man, telling them that he had stole Einstein's brain. Now, after that, Harvey ended up sending a lot of the pieces of the brain fragments to different scientists and trying to print journals and all these differences in the brain of Einstein, but what he found out was that there's nothing different from Einstein's brain as far as he could tell and as far as other scientists can tell. So there went Harvey's career and everything, all because of Einstein's brain. Now Einstein's brain is located in a lot of different places. You can find it in the Mutter Museum, you can find it in the Museum of England. There are a lot of different museums that hold pieces of his brain, because I mean, there's 240 thanks to Mr. Thomas Harvey. I don't know what's the deal with people stealing brains that they think have some magical powers, but 9 times out of 10, there's usually nothing different than any average brain. The more you know. I was inspired by Einstein's brain and how it was kept. It was kept in a very hard cellulose that, of course, wiggled and jiggled just like Jell-O. So let me teach you how I made these awesome brains and the little cake pops inside of them. There's one thing I'm really good at, it's making cake pops. You can't really mess it up. I mean, you have to mess it up to get it right. So here's the ingredients you're going to need for the cake pops. And of course, Jell-O is the one thing that I had trouble with, but honestly, it's because I'm not a Jell-O fan. I've never made Jell-O. Ingredients for my cake pops, I have red velvet, which I thought would look really cool when you bite inside of a brain and it's red. I have brain molds, which you can get on eBay. I got mine on Amazon, I think like $6. They come out pretty cool. I feel like you could probably get a better one somewhere else, but they were brainy enough for me. I got candy melts. I got them in bright pink and regular pink because I kind of wanted to mix them together. And of course, when you're making cake pops, you need some kind of icing. I got cream cheese icing because you're going to need all the ingredients for that cake mix, which mine has P on the box. This is where it gets a little weird. You're going to want gelatin, just regular old gelatin. I found this at Walmart. It's hard to find. You just got to look through the Jell-Os, and it's just a clear gelatin that you can just color and flavor yourself. 2 Capri Suns, because quite honestly, when it comes to this gelatin, it's best to use a juice, and Capri Sun is a clear juice, so it'll taste really good. I also put a tiny, tiny bit of blue food coloring. Use it very, very sparingly because believe me, you will regret it if you don't. I bought these really cool jars at Hobby Lobby for very cheap. They were actually on sale, 50% off, so I got a good deal with that one. They look perfect. They open like that, and after you're done with them, you can use them for snacks or candy or whatever you want. I just think they're really cool.
Now let's get this party started. First, what you're going to want to do is melt your candy melts. The easy way to do it is stick it in the microwave for 1 minute. If it's not goopy enough for you, then you stick it in for 30 more seconds. And if it's still not goopy, then 30 more seconds should do the trick. Kind of looks like tubby custard. You know, the stuff that the people on Tumblr thought was chicken? Yeah, long story. Anyway, what you're going to want to do is you're going to stick your tubby custard into your brain molds. Make sure that you get a nice amount in there so you can put it around the edges so you won't have cracky brains. There's a lot of spooning going on, kids, so make sure you look away. But yeah, just make sure you get those edges nice and saturated and you get all that chocolate in the cracks and crevices of your brain. When you're finally done spooning, make sure the sides are really thick. And then stick that bugger in the freezer for as long as you need to. Alright, now comes the fun part. What you're going to do is you're going to bake that cake using the instructions on the back of the box. Make sure it's nice and cool. Don't want to burn your little fingers. And then you're going to pretty much destroy the cake. Like, destroy the cake. Just make sure everything is nice and crumbly and smooth. I know the edge pieces are a little hard. Just make sure you break those up into really tiny pieces so it's not weird. And just continue breaking up that cake. Once that cake is nice and finely textured, you're going to get your icing. And you're just going to plop it on in there. Just mix it on in. Just mush it and mush it. Feels kind of good. Just watch out because once you wash your hands, the red kind of stains and you look like a serial killer. But hey, that's life. Gotta get dirty. Oh, taking off my ring. Yeah, you might want to take off your jewelry. Good idea, Hannah. Thanks, Hannah. That looks the opposite of what I would want to eat. But after you're done and you put it in ball form, it's gonna be freaking delicious. Just believe me, folks. Don't let go of me yet. Just keep going. Alright, now we're just gonna put that on the side for now, and we're gonna work on our gelatin. So now I'm going to make the gelatin. Got it from Walmart, nothing fancy. I'm putting 1 cup of cold Capri Sun into the mixture. Yep, that's me pouring. Yep. Then I'm going to put all 4 packets all 4 of them came in the box together. So just put the whole box into that cold juice. Yeah, it's gonna look pretty gross and goopy and weird. But don't worry, it's gonna work out. Now just let the cold juice and the gelatin sit for 1 minute. Then I heated up 2 cups of Capri Sun and threw it in there after that minute of sitting. And then 1 cup of water so it would be extra clear. Now you're gonna stir it all up, and your main goal is to make sure that the gelatin powder dissolves completely. Now I'm putting a little bit of blue food coloring, but I'm telling you sparingly as heck. Ugh. Anyway, so then you're gonna pour your gelatin mixture into the jar. Then you're gonna stick it in the fridge for about 45 minutes. Now you want it to be kind of jelly, like, I don't know how to explain it, just wiggly but not too stiff. Because you want to push that brain. Oh, doesn't that look satisfying as heck? Yes. And then, thankfully, you just stick it back in the fridge and it hardens up nicely. And that's about it. Good job.
Alright, you guys, I hope you learned a little something about the missing brains of history. And, of course, how to make cake ball brains suspended in Jell-O. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, keep it historical, and I'll see you guys next time.